Very much, Lindsay. Guys, congratulations. Alexis, how are you managing to constantly churn out these performances and results?
Well, thank you very much. I think it's the desire to win trophies. We know that this season we have maybe the opportunity to win some, so we are really happy, working really hard, and hopefully we can keep on going.
Dominic, that's the first time you've scored back-to-back Premier League goals this season. Do you feel like you're playing some of your best football of your career? Come in. I said, do you feel like you're playing some of the best football of your career? It's the first time you scored back-to-back Premier League goals this season.
Yeah, well, it's my second season, so it was not a long time that I had any chance to score twice in a different game. So, no, I'm really happy to have the team. But yeah, as I say, the most important is the team. If I can score even more goals back-to-back, I would be happy. But until we are in the first position of the league, I'm more happy.
Was the timing of your goal crucial? Because Newcastle were just starting to get a little bit of joy going forward, but you whipped it in and stubbed it out.
Yeah, maybe we didn't start the second half as we wanted, but yeah, as you said, it was nice because I like to get to this position. Sometimes I don't get the ball, but this time Mo played it, so really happy for that.
I don't know if you know the Arsenal results, but you're now 13 points clear at the top of the Premier League. At what point do you start to see the light here and think, hang on, this might happen?
Well, after mathematically they have no chance to get us. So, yeah, we are really happy that we are 13 points clear, but we will focus on ourselves. Now we have a Champions League coming up, so we will have to focus on this as well. And then, yeah, game by game, we are looking forward to stay in the top.
Does it feel like a luxury to have 7 days off before your next Champions League game?
Yeah, definitely. We need it. We were talking and we were a little bit tired, but this week will be nice to get some rest, some days off, and yeah, thanks to Arne as well.
Are you targeting 3 trophies then this year? You've got Newcastle again in the League Cup final coming up.
When I came to Liverpool, I wanted to win everything in my first season. So I don't like to talk about it. We have to focus, as I said, game by game. First Champions League we have to go through, and then we have a Premier League game in between. And then we have a cup final. So against them, really tough team, really good team, really good playing style what they do. So we have to be ready and focus first in the Champions League, and then the cup final is coming up as well.
We just said you wanted to win everything coming to Liverpool. How do you feel about winning Player of the Match trophy? Will you take that one? Alexis, would you do the honours for us? Well done, Dominic.
Thank you very much, Becky. Dominic Szoboszlai there saying until it's not mathematically impossible, they are not going to lose focus, but it is starting to look like a procession. You talked about just how focused they are, Rafa. How comfortable were they out there tonight?
I liked the interviews, and I will say, Steve, that when you are winning trophies,
yes,
then you have the feeling that everybody is involved, everybody is committed, and then it's what they say, the desire to win trophies. Mathematically, still we are there, one game at a time. That is the right message, and that is the right mentality. So you have seen a team that mentally is strong enough. Everybody is working together. Even they talk about days off, and is another plus. So they work with the desire, the mentality, the commitment, the work rate that you need. But also I will say something in favor of the manager. That is that they know what they have to do. When they have to drop off and defend, they defend. When they have to attack, they attack with numbers. When they have to keep the ball or game management at the end, they were keeping and passing the ball. So you can see a team that has belief that they can win and that they want to win trophies. And at the same time, they know what they have to do because the manager is doing a good job.
And we're watching a side who look relentless, Maka,
yes,
but it also looks like they've got gears to go through when they're not playing at their top level.
Yeah, Ali said, were comfortable, didn't he? They were very calm. They won on a canter, really. You felt as if Newcastle did get into the game at any stage, they could go again and get a goal. Incredibly efficient. You see the last minute, the work ethic closing down, even in Fulham, even in Newcastle's penalty area. You know, Salah in the last kick of the game, trying to win something. Trying to nick something back. So their commitment to get the job done, their professionalism, their game management again was excellent. They didn't look in any discomfort today, a bit like the Manchester City game. The last game here against Wolves, that's when they wobbled a little bit, but since then they've just stepped on it again, and they're in cruise control, aren't they? Everybody else is falling away, helping them. But what they need to do is get the right results themselves, and at this moment in time, they're unstoppable, they really are.
And they're still on for a treble. How sustainable is it, Rafa, the way that they're playing, that style?
No, I think it's fine, because what they said before, they are changing players when the game was nearly there, 75, 77 minutes, the manager is changing players, so giving a rest, giving a chance to the others to be part of the group. So if you can change, and now they have some days off, so they know that mentally you can be tired, but if you are winning, you can carry on. But if you are winning and you have some days off, they know the fixtures. They know we have to play this game. So that means that everybody's thinking about, we want to win this trophy, go for the next one, go for the next one. So they can do it because they believe that they can do it.
Yeah. Could well be a Premier League medal in their cabinet very shortly indeed. Remember, 30 points left to play for. They only need 21 of those 30 to guarantee being Premier League champions. They're 13 points clear of Arsenal. They only have one game in hand, and Arsenal are the only team to have got a 13-point deficit clawed back in 97-98. The big difference, though, that season they had 19 games left to play, and here they only have 11. This would take the most extraordinary of stories to turn around.
Yeah, it would. It's, lots of people a week or so thought it was all over. I thought it was probably, but after tonight, it's another nail in Arsenal's coffin, really. Liverpool just look unbeatable, especially at home, and they've got the majority of their games at home. 6 out of the 10 at home. Their run-in isn't the hardest. They've obviously got to play Arsenal, but apart from that, I think their run-in is doable. So I think it is. I think it's pretty much over now. You look at Liverpool's run-in there. Southampton at home, they could possibly beat them with their eyes closed at the moment, the way they're playing and the way Southampton are playing as well. Everton, the derby, that might be a toughie. Obviously, the way Everton are playing, but
on the other side of the screen, Arsenal have to win every single one of those games as well, and you're looking for drop points for Liverpool when they've only lost one game all season.
Yeah, I think they're going to struggle. As you say, the fixtures that Arsenal have are much more difficult as well. I don't know, I think Arsenal just lost their spark as well. In previous seasons, they've been running Man City so close right up to the last couple of games of the season and having a great title race, but they've just dropped off, Steve. And again, it's the obvious one for me. I think they need someone who's going to put the ball in the back of the net. Michael knows better than me about that. They need someone they can depend on. I thought even in January they could have got someone. I know Watkins was a late shout, but they could have got someone even on loan just to give them a different option, off the bench or whatever. I know we didn't know then Havertz was going to get injured. But at the same time, they were too easy to play against or too easy to defend against. Sometimes you need an option B or something different just to mix it up. And as you say, that points deficit, the gap's way too big now. I think it's a done deal. I mean, Arne Slot won't be saying that to his players. The next game's important, it's huge, and what have you. But for us, I think it's their title, isn't it?
Yeah, and the real momentum, you could hear it as well as see it tonight. Like I say, I use the word machine. They are, aren't they? Particularly at home.
Yeah, everything's gone right, hasn't it, this season? You look at the questions that we had at the start of the season. Obviously, Klopp leaving and Arne Slot coming in. We didn't know much about Arne Slot. But the one constant they had was the players. There was hardly any, movement. Chiesa came in. He's hardly kicked a ball. But there was no incomings, no outgoings. The only real change was Gravenberch came in and played in that number 6 role. We weren't sure how that was going to develop. As it happens, he's been an absolute masterstroke. He's been brilliant at it. Apart from that, this team has been there, seen it, done it, won every trophy there is to win, the majority of them anyway. So really, in hindsight, we shouldn't have had too many question marks. The manager's come in and just, taken over and done a great job. Calmed everyone down, his demeanour's great. One of the big things I do think as well is their injury record. It's fantastic. And when you've got the full set of players, you can then rotate. You can then do whatever you want. Once you get injuries, you've got no option but to play the same team. Then They obviously overplay. Then they get injured, and then the whole thing just snowballs.
I know what you're saying. I think you should clarify that with major injuries, because they have missed players for large, but they have missed Alisson, they've missed Trent, they've missed Konate, they've missed Jota. Gakpo's been out the last few weeks. But you're again going to come back to me and say, well, Salah and Van Dijk, and indeed Game.
Yeah, okay, well, major injuries. All those players there's no one that's been out for a long time. Alisson probably was out for the longest, but they've got a cracking goalkeeper, reserve goalkeeper in Kelleher. But major injuries, yeah, they've managed that really well. And I don't think that's a fluke. I think when you look at all these teams around the country, there's lots of teams this year. Manchester City, Tottenham, Manchester United, just off the top of my head, that have had chronic injury problems. And that's not just luck all the time. You know, that's why they employ sports scientists and medical teams and all the rest of it, and they train, and their diet and the nutritionists and all of these things go into it. That's all so important. The 1% differences all over the place add up, and I just think they've got it right on and off the pitch.
Yeah, I think Arne Slot deserves so much credit. I think I said at the start of the show as well, it's a fresh voice. They had Klopp for 8 years, whatever it was, and he's come in with a freshness. The other thing I might add to it as well is obviously the three of their main players, you could argue, is Trent, Van Dijk and Mo Salah, and obviously their contract situation. You sort of talk about Liverpool, you always talk about that. Now I think that's actually played into Arne Slot's hands as well, because one thing, they're either playing for a new contract at Liverpool or they're playing for their next contract at another club, and every single week they're playing to their maximum, they're playing to their best. And I think that's actually helped them. It's galvanised them. It's brought them together. I think Van Dijk was interviewed maybe a couple of months ago. I've seen it, and he said he was asked who was the last Dutch manager who won the Premier League, and he was like questioning. He goes, "Who is it? I can't think. No one." And his eyes lit up. Van Dijk was like, "I can make history. I can be the first Dutch captain to get my hands on the Premier League." So I think all that stuff, and Arne Slot, he just, as you said, Klopp, how do you follow in Klopp? We've seen what happened with Ferguson. They dropped off. You know, he actually went on and managed these players. Man management must be fantastic as well. But them three, I think them three key players, you know, they might be leaving, and some of them might all be leaving. I don't know, Michael. They could all leave the building perhaps, but they've given their maximum to the club. But imagine leaving with 3 trophies as well. It would be a fantastic finish.
Tree summed it up. Efficiently excellent. The scary thing about this Liverpool team, I feel, is there's more to come. There's a couple of more gears they can go through. I think Arne Slot said before the game, freedom with the ball, which you see, responsibility out of possession. This whole team is structured and well set up, so they're going to be difficult to break down. And this Liverpool team, probably different from the Jurgen Klopp era, when they have the ball, first of all, of course, they want to create chances and score goals. That's obviously the purpose. But they also have the ball sometimes to take a rest, to get themselves in shape, to get the structure right. They draw the opposition on, and then they start to build a play. But it's not kind of back and forth and up and down in the intensity and the drama of the Klopp here. It's much more controlled. It's much more within their own hands. And they are proving to be a very different winner, but a top-class team.
Do you agree, Robbie?
Of course I agree. It's all over. It is all over. We just watched the champions of the Premier League season for this season. Thoroughly deserved. A little sense of that I felt afterwards there, the applause from Anfield with the other results. It is all over. And the thing that struck me about today, and we know about Mo Salah, and we know about the way that they play, and Rob's right, sometimes it's a little slower football, but the work ethic from this team is outstanding. And I watched the front players, every time they gave the ball away, they're so quick to regain it. That's a Klopp thing, this counter-pressing where you go forward, you attack, you give the ball away, and they swarm around the ball to win it back again. I saw in the 90th minute, I made a note of it, Luis Diaz sprinting like 40 yards to close the ball down. And the work ethic, and I know that Arne Slot sat up there, he must be so proud because he says it so many times in his press conferences about work ethic without the ball. We've got to work hard, we've got to be strong, we can do our thing on the ball, but what's going to make us different is our work ethic. And I just thought that today was outstanding, apart from some of the football, some of the attacking, some of the front player movements and the attacking they've got. You know, also, just finally on this, like, I looked at Van Dijk and Konate in the last sort of 10 minutes of the game. They do nothing. They don't have to do anything. It's all happening in front of them. They're so hard to get through from the front line, to get through the midfield, that they actually might do something. And Newcastle are a good side. Newcastle United are a good team, and they gave plenty in that game today. But just the power, the dynamism of this Liverpool team is stunning.
And it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future of Liverpool. Obviously, some key players, contracts coming up this summer. Who knows what will happen? But for now, enjoy the ride. Incredible
absolutely.
leadership by Arne Slot, who was serving one of a two-match ban, a touchline ban, so that's why he was up in the stands after what took place at the end of the Merseyside derby a couple of weeks ago. But now let's get out on the pitch and hear from tonight's two goal scorers for Liverpool.
Liverpool, but at the edge of the box, when they have to defend with so many players, they could wait and then just do man-to-man one of them. That I think was Tonali, the one who was close. So you have to protect your goal, but at the same time you have to see who is the one that can score. Then they were dropping off, and instead of dropping off all of them, Tonali has to stay close to Szoboszlai, and then he could stop the goal.
So frustrating, Maka, because they had the numbers back.
They had the numbers back. They all got back in a defensive shape, but nobody affected the ball. You see when Luis Diaz picks the ball up, it's Shaw inside because Livermento's gone further forward. He doesn't want to engage. So he allows Luis Diaz to run right into the penalty area, into the danger spot. Tonali's on the 6-yard box when Szoboszlai stops, and then he gets a free shot on target. So they tried to be condensed, they tried to be organised, Newcastle, but they just switched off at the final moment, and Liverpool got the breakthrough.
The best way to defend is to press the ball, not to drop off all the time. So if you press the ball, you stop him scoring.
Newcastle haven't had a shot on target, Rafa, but Callum Wilson has shown his willingness to run in behind. Are we just seeing a bit of rustiness from him, do you think?
Yeah, we have seen from the beginning that he was, or Newcastle United was ready to run in behind. So he's very clever. We were talking about that at the beginning, that Isaac was not here, but he has very good runs. So it's just a little bit early, this one. But this one, for example, you see that the movement is right. Konate is doing the wrong movement because he has to go inside. And then, he has to have to finish and then more clinical, but still is a threat. And we were talking about, Steve, about that, the possible game plan that they have is to stay there, see what happens, and 75 minutes more or less, then try to...
They've been very organised, Newcastle, haven't they? They've been nice and tight, and they'll keep it like that. And if they stay 1-0 for 75 minutes, that's when Eddie will take a bit of a gamble. It's whether Liverpool can score in front of the Kop.
Yeah, it is